Think you know everything about youth protection training? Well, let's discover the truth behind some of the myths. Hey, ScouterStan, let's dispel some of those crazy myths that are out there about youth protection. The youth protection training, normally the acronym is YPT, is done by leaders throughout scouting, and we'll get into more of who should be taking that. But one of the big myths out there is that once you've taken it, you never have to do it again. That's not true. Personally, I believe it should be done annually. That's just me. I think that it changes, and we need to be aware of some of those changes within that training. The training is good for 2 years, but if you do it every year, you don't have to worry about that. Now, the next big myth that's out there is that only registered leaders, the ones that are scout facing, are required to keep their youth protection training current. It is not limited to adult registered leaders. It is available online through my.scouting.org, and that is where you can actually take that course. Now, a lot of adults, and I recommend a lot of parents to take the training also. When they do that, you want to go on myscouting.org, create an account, and take that training. That way it's there, it's attached to that account. So later on, if you become a registered leader with the unit, you can attach that number, that ID number, to that account. And that way it's all there. That's important, especially for training that you do. Now, back on that, I recommend that parents also do the training. This has several very interesting things that parents need to be aware of. It may not be for their own kids, it may be for their friends, okay? So you want to protect them also. You've got to, it's very important to protect the children from any kind of physical abuse or mental abuse. These are things that happen, and parents need to be aware of that. Also, it allows the parent to be aware of what the adult leaders should be doing. This is a double check so that we can keep the too deep leadership going. Not only with the adult leaders need to be too deep, but we need to have the parents as part of a system where we're keeping everybody in check so that all of the protections that are there are kept and maintained. Now, before we go any further, I do want to invite you to our monthly meeting. It's on the first Sunday of each month, and it's at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. So you're more than welcome to join us and ask questions and just have fun. You know, that's one of those wonderful things about that meeting. I also want to thank everybody on Patreon for their continued support of our channel. And our channel members. You can be a channel member. You hit the join button and join up. There's all kinds of badges and emojis and different things. They even get the videos exclusively for themselves, ad-free, which is an added bonus. And then, of course, if you don't want to join in and do a monthly donation, you could always do a one-time donation by hitting the thanks button. So get involved. I really do appreciate all that you do in scouting and here on the channel. Another big myth is that youth protection training is only for camping activities. It just isn't. Youth protection training is all the time. Everything we do in scouting, everything that we do in scouting has to be through that youth protection training. It is so important that we keep that consistent in all of our communications, all of our camping, all of our adventures, all of our meetings. Everything involved with scouting has to be under that huge umbrella of YPT, known as Youth Protection Training. Now, we use acronyms a lot, and especially on this one. YPT is what we say all the time. So if the acronyms are kind of making you nuts, that's one thing. But keep this in mind. We're going to say YPT. It just happens because youth protection training is kind of difficult to constantly be just saying the words. So using that acronym, that comes up a lot in scouting. So if you're new to scouting and you just went through your youth protection training, you're going to automatically start seeing YPT everywhere. It's in the description of this video. So just that's an acronym like BSA. We constantly say all the time. We don't even think about it. So that's a scouting thing. We should always be thinking about what it means. We have to protect our youth. The youth are the most precious resource that this country has. We have to protect them, not only physically but mentally too. So that's what YPT is all about. We want to make sure that we have young people having adventures safely and in a safe environment so that they're not subject to all of the bad things that could be going on in schools and whatever. There's a lot of different things going on that shouldn't be going on in scouting. So in scouting, we need to have that umbrella so that we can protect our youth. And definitely, youth protection training does that. So definitely think about doing your youth protection training annually. It's a suggestion. If you do it annually, you'll never run out. And you'll always be up to date. That's the neat thing about it. May, we could just say May is the month that everybody does their youth protection. That's when it starts. Let's do it that way. That just makes it easier to remember. Once a year in May, you do your youth protection. You find a few hours that you could set aside for that training. Definitely get started in it, and it is a critical thing for our scouts. We do a lot. We do a lot of training, we do a lot of planning, we do a lot of things for our youth, and it is critical that we keep them safe, and I know you do. So, with that, I will see you on the trail.